Hi friends, welcome to our section study. My name is Kasani. This is Bible Facts. And today again, we are going to have another topic study that I entitled The Great Tribulation. So friends, this is what you need to know about the end times as described in the Bible, because Jesus prophesied about this, and every Christian or the believer of Christ, you need to know about this because it's about to happen. So kindly to the new ones, subscribe for more video like this, and don't forget to share with your friends and family. So the Great Tribulation represents a time when this point will be reached, with nations that have no excuse because they were being warned. What will happen to nations that harm Israel? Israel represents God's people, or the chosen people of God. Great Tribulation, many people have heard of the Great Tribulation, but they ain't sure what it is or what it means for their lives. Christ told his disciples, "For then there will be great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, or nor ever shall be," in the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 21. Now what is Great Tribulation? The context of this verse is the chapter that describes the 1400 from the tribe of Israel who were sealed before the day of the Lord began, the book of Revelation chapter 7 verse 1 to verse 8. Then Apostle John saw the multitude that had no one could number, clothed in the white robes, and they were all from the nations and peoples. In what is called the olive prophecy, Jesus said, "For then there will be great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world until this time. No one shall ever be unless those days were shortened. No flesh could be saved, but for the elect's sake, those will be shortened." Essentially, the time of Jacob's trouble corresponding to the same time period called the Great Tribulation. The world condition will be worse than any time in history. The humanity will be on the brink of the self-destruction. This Great Tribulation leads up to the day called the Day of the Lord, or the Day of Judgment. In this teaching about the future, Jesus described this time as one great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh could be saved. But for those who are elected, for the sake they will be shortened. Out of the Great Tribulation, Revelation chapter 7 verse 14, "And I said to him, Sir, you know?" And he said to me, "Those are the ones come out of the Great Tribulation, and who came and washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." The context of this verse in this chapter that first describes the 1400 from the tribe of Israel will bring about the Great Tribulation, war, persecution, the woman. The woman represents God's people, which at the end of the chapter is a symbolic Christ's church. Says, "But the woman was given 2 wings of the great dragon, that she might fly in the wilderness to her place where she is nourished for a time, and times and half a time." From the Great Tribulation is the major prophetic event, and mentioned in many other prophecies throughout the Bible. In brief, those prophecies show that this tribulation will last 3 years and a half and culminate with the return of Christ Jesus. Some specific event prophesied to occur during the Great Tribulation. The Olivet discuss then includes an extensive discussion of the next indicator of Christ's return in the end times. Tribulation, Matthew chapter 24, verse 9 to verse 28. The Greek word philipis is rendered in the King James Version variously as tribulation, affliction, or persecution, and is used generally of what is Great Tribulation. The 1400 in Revelation, what is the day of the Lord? The wrath of God. How to survive. How 70 trumpets of Revelation will affect the humanity. What does it mean, the seventh trumpet? Two witnesses of Revelation 11. Who are the woman? Who is the child and the dragon? A safety place. Who is the beast? We need to know all that. Tribulation, persecution, and martyrdom, with the religious deception, warfare, famine, pestilences, and natural disaster striking all over the world, people will turn against people of God in their anger and confusion. Mankind will lash out against anyone trying to live by God's ways. Neighbor and family will betray one another. In fact, Jesus himself told of a future time of great tribulation that would take a place unlike anything the world has ever seen. We explain more further despite being warned well in advance. Jesus said, that time will come unexpectedly on the whole world like a snare suddenly snapping. The Bible indicates persecution to be the cause of this, and some of God's people will be martyred, and others will be hidden and protected throughout the tribulation. Revelation chapter 12, verse 14-17. Even though there will be a time when they organize effort to preach the true gospel, it will be forcibly halted and the gospel will be preached. Jesus has told his disciples in the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 21-22. He says, for there will be the great tribulation, such as has not been the beginning of the world until this time. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh could be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be. Now Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. The dragon and the future dragon. In the book of Revelation, we find that the beast's agenda corresponding to the dragon, and the dragon is Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. And the beast in Revelation 13, verse 1 to verse 7, carries out the deception. So John implies that the healing of the beast's mortal wound is itself a deception, producing the amazement by the whole. So friends, I decided to make two parts from this study of Great Tribulation because it's a bit long, and tomorrow we shall have another part 2. Thank you always for coming, and don't forget to subscribe and even share with friends. May God bless you, and always share with a friend. Have a good day.